sorry, I was just running. I was running to be on time. So I apologize for like breathing heavily. Hi everybody, Llewellyn here with Whimsy. Today we're working on the water, and this is my inspiration painting that I did for the piece. So I'm kind of going to be doing the same thing as last time. So for the water, I'm going to start out with, I'm thinking cobalt. This is my second coat, obviously. I had blueberry under there, but then I finished my painting a little more and I figured out that I don't want the blueberry there. I really want it to reflect more of the sky colors. I'm gonna jump right in with the cobalt, and I'm gonna be doing my waterline. Now I still do have a little ways to go on the sky up above. Here we go. I'm just gonna try and do as straight as I can on this waterline. And I did want it to go up over this drawer. At first I had it left between the drawers, but then it just kind of felt weird. And my brush is a little bit wet because I just washed it. That's okay, I do like a damp brush anyway. And I think I'm also gonna be using, this is aubergine. So it's like a deep, dark purple color. I'm opening up the drawer. I do like to try to paint my drawer edges as I go along. I'm still using that cobalt blue, and I'm going over the blueberry that I had on there before. And what I'm trying to do is sort of mimic the sky that we have going on here. And I wanted to get a darker color along my horizon line so that my water popped, because it was kind of blending in, and you know, I wanted to be able to tell what's going on a little better. I'm keeping this one a little less like perfect like I usually do, but I still wanted it to be, you to be able to see what's going on, so make sure I angle it correctly so y'all can see everything. Phew, and I did run around again. It's like everything happens. That's okay. We're here. We made it. Okay, so still with the cobalt right along this horizon, and then I'm gonna try and I'm just going with a nice straight line, because your horizon line, you just want a nice straight line. And then I'm gonna try and get some of the reflections in on the water tonight. I tend to work like half and half on a piece, like I'll do half the sky, you know, or divide it up so that it's manageable within an hour or two sections. This side, I really like how the clouds are turning out. I still have to do the clouds on the top of this side of the sky. It's starting to come together though, so you all can really see it. You know, it takes a while. Usually there's a few points where I'm like, what the heck am I doing? I have no idea where this is going right now, but it's finally turned that corner. Okay, so we've got the cobalt and the aubergine, and that's what I did for my waterline. Okay, we're gonna keep moving down. My reflection from my sun will be right here. So I'm gonna start adding some of those colors. And I'm just gonna grab, I was using a Dixie Belle oval, and I'm just gonna switch over to a smaller art brush, like just a craft size brush. Anything a little bit smaller will do for this part. And I'll start getting in those highlights. So I'm going right into my cotton. If I'm mixing colors, I will use a little plate and mix my colors on here. So what I see first is I just try to mimic some of the colors in the sky. If you guys have any questions, do post them. I will come back through and I will answer everything, or I try to come back through and answer everything that I haven't answered. So I've got my little plate, and I'm just gonna put some cotton on it. And I do like to mist with my water mister. It's just water in there, and it's a fine continuous mist bottle. It just makes it easier for me to mix the color. Dixie Belle's pretty thick paint, so I'll mist it when I'm going to mix it as well. So I'm gonna put some whites where they would be reflectant right in here. Now, I usually always, this is my second coat, but I will still go back and perfect everything. You know, this is just just the beginnings, and I'm still forming my ideas on my second coat. So these pieces, they do take quite a bit, but they're so fun and it's really worth it for me. Like, I've just found my passion with painting like this. So, and I think I'm gonna get a little bit of that flamingo in there as well. I didn't go down too far and kind of took a break from the cobalt. I can come back in and just kind of like stripe some more cobalt in there, and I'm just doing little brush strokes like this, and almost like little wavy looking brush strokes, back and forth and back and forth. I'm gonna add some peony as well in there. There's more of the peony like over on this side. I usually do try and stick in my reflections. I just kind of use whatever colors are in that area. We've got some pink stuff happening. And another thing that this helps me with is it kind of tells me where I'm going to put my waves as well. So like on the crest of a wave, if you're looking at a sunset, usually you'll see the light hitting off the very top of the wave. And then right underneath it will be a darker area where it's blocking all the light. So that I'm going for a sunset with this one. And the sun will be right here. For the sun, I'm probably just gonna lighten it up a little bit. Quite a range of colors I used on this piece, maybe more than, you know, obviously more than you would use on your regular pieces. But it's cotton is like my white, and then I've got the cobalt and aubergine are my dark purple and blue. I did use some lucky lavender, that's in here. Peony I mixed with, you know, the lucky lavender and the cotton a little bit. What else? Flamingo. I've got daisy, just kind of a rainbow. I like rainbow pieces. I just like to have fun with my pieces, 100% fun. And do whatever I want. Okay, I think I've had enough of the artist brush for a second. I'm gonna go back in and fill in some more space with some of my other colors. Get this a little darker. My Dixie Belle brush actually lays it on nice and thick. Like this is, if you want your paint to go on nice and thick, then a good brush is always helpful. Okay, so we're still getting this in. More highlights will need to go in, and I can still show you guys too. I'll be adding in, this isn't even done, but I'll be adding in more of the highlights in the middle to match the sky and stuff. And on this one, I'll be taking some of this out. It was a little bit much. So now I'm gonna move down, since we're kind of working on this side, and I'm gonna get some of my sand in there. Where did I put my sand color? And I think, for now, I'm gonna use Midnight Sky for my sand, as it's a very dark, I wanted it to be a dark sunset scene. And when you're on the beach at night and the sun is setting, it almost looks black unless you have a reflection of the water. So I'm gonna get this in there if I feel like changing it. Sometimes I like to use a lot of purple in my sand, so I might do that. I might use some aubergine as well. But I always buy these smaller pots, and one of the reasons is because I do dip my brush a lot into the pot. I try to use up all the paint off my brush and then I'll dip it into the next one. But you know, my colors actually stay pretty well and they don't get too muddled. Okay, so I'm gonna come over here. This is where I want my beach. I'm gonna come up to the sky now if you guys are still willing to hang out with me. I've got, over on that side, I have some of the clouds started and I brought in some of the colors. For this right now, this is where I'm really getting it all put together on the sky. The sky is really starting to come together. The bottom is still more of, needs maybe more layers of color and stuff added in and perfecting it. So the sky is nearly there, is what I'm trying to say. If I could just get to the point. So I'm gonna start with some cotton. And these are just my little mixie plates, as I said before. And if my paint starts to dry on here and I want to keep it wet, I'll just use some water from a spray bottle. And I'm gonna lighten this area. This is where my sun would be. I'm gonna add like the tiniest hint of daisy. You could use lemonade if you have that color. Daisy, kernel mustard if you add even less of it. But I just want a really light yellow. So, because you see how bright it looks. Okay, so I'm just getting some bright areas around where the sun is setting. So I'm getting this sun area in. And then in the center here, I'm gonna work on some more of these, getting some wispy clouds going. So I'll just keep working on that. It's basically the same colors as what I used down below. Maybe a little bit of the peony, a little bit more peony, and some lucky lavender. Because I used quite a bit of the lucky lavender as my background here. I'm gonna show you guys as well as I mix. And the clouds are kind of all different colors, so it makes it fun. So you can kind of just use whatever's on your palette at the moment. Might get some gray ones in there first, but I don't want them too dark because we're in a really light area. So I'll do this, mix it with that peony and the cotton. We'll see if it's the right color. I'm thinking. I like the pink better. And get that pink again. I don't want too much dark in here, so I'm trying to be careful. And what I wanted is for my clouds to kind of go up and out from the sun almost. I don't know if that makes sense when I say it out loud. It makes sense in my head. And aubergine is one of the colors that I mainly used on the clouds, so I'm going to keep that on my palette. And when I came up here from this cobalt, it's cobalt up here, so I put in the aubergine in like some random sort of a pattern and had the clouds almost like disappearing up into the sky. As they come towards you, they'll be a little bit bigger, and then these lower clouds are almost like farther away. Some perspective. You know what, that's not even aubergine. I think I just dipped into not my purple. That's okay. We'll put it right over the top. Like, that looks a little black. That's because it was midnight sky. That's what happens when you have too many colors open at your feet. Double dipping. Okay, there's the aubergine. I'm just gonna keep making some cloud formations in here. And I know it looks a little crazy now, but that is okay. It'll start to come together, kind of like what they do over there. And I just want to kind of be random. They were like little fluffy little bellies in one of the pictures that I looked at. And then I try to make the bottoms lighter. So that's where it looks like the sun is hitting them on the bottoms. As the sun goes down, it's underneath them. So it kind of hits them underneath. And I'm gonna get a little darks up here maybe. So it's kind of just about going back and forth between your colors. I don't want to get too dark, too low, because most of the darker ones when I painted them in were up higher, and it worked for this piece. And a few more. I'm trying to hurry for you guys too, so we can keep moving on. I'm gonna do a few lighter clouds, but see how you kind of get up front and it looks a little bit like blobs. And if I back you out, you start to see, I'm gonna turn it a little bit, but you start to see the whole picture, and then you can, you know, if you're up close, it's kind of blobby. You're kind of like, what's going on? But a lot of times I'll just take a step back and it starts to look good. I've been doing this piece all live on my page and on the Dixie Belle page here. I had it live on Sunday, if you want to go back and check it out. And I had a few lives last week on my own page on it, and one today. So I'll be finishing this up live this week. And so if you guys want to follow along and keep following along, go ahead and like my page. It's Worn to Whimsy. I've actually tagged it in the description. It should be up there. And I just want to thank you all for joining me tonight. I hope you guys have a great evening. And yeah, thanks for joining me. You guys have a good night.